From sea to shining sea, America is full of beautiful landscapes, and some of the most extraordinary places are available to everyone because they are part of the National Park Service. But take a moment and imagine, what would our country be like if there were no national parks? And what makes national parks so special? It all started with the Yellowstone National Park Act, signed March 1, 1872. President Ulysses S. Grant designated over 2 million acres as a national park in what would become Wyoming and Montana. And as they weren't even states yet, the park's protection was placed with the Department of the Interior. Yellowstone is a geological wonder and home to a variety of unique ecosystems. By becoming a national park, the area is protected from development, but also available for people to enjoy. No individual person can own the land and keep it from the rest of Americans. By the turn of the 20th century, westward expansion threatened not only natural resources, but also areas of historical significance. On June 8, 1906, President Teddy Roosevelt signed the National Antiquities Act. Public lands could now be designated as national monuments should they hold historic landmarks, historic and prehistoric structures, and other objects of historic or scientific interest. However, these lands were not only being rescued from development, they were being taken from native tribes. Mesa Verde National Park was established to preserve ancient Pueblo structures dating back to the 1200s. The Pueblo people no longer lived in the area at the time the park was established, but the Ute tribe, who had been living there for generations, were forced to relinquish land so it could be incorporated into the park. Nevertheless, the U.S. government continued to secure public lands under the Department of the Interior, but there was no specific agency dedicated to its management. Through the Organic Act of 1916, signed by President Woodrow Wilson, the National Park Service was created, providing infrastructure and management to keep the parks protected and accessible. Its mission was to conserve the scenery and the natural and historic objects and the wildlife, as will leave them unimpaired for the enjoyment of future generations. Today, the National Park Service includes 433 parks and monuments, more than 85 million acres in all 50 states. In 2024, 20,000 permanent and temporary employees work to protect these important lands, plants, animals, artifacts, and keep people safe during their visit. These workers lead educational programs, conduct research, clear trails, and even rescue stranded hikers, keeping public lands accessible to, well, the public. And those visitors spend money on lodging, restaurants, and other activities. It's estimated that while the budget for the National Park Service in 2023 was around $3.6 billion, the parks generated about $55.6 billion for local economies. Money aside, the National Park Service is that, a service for the American people, supported by the American people, in recognition of this beautiful land we call home. What do you think? Does the National Park Service deserve public support? Or do you think those tax dollars should be spent elsewhere?